Pounders, welcome back. It's been a while. I got the baby number 2 on the way, due at the end of December, so been sort of shifting focus a little bit away from there, but we have week 15 best ball playoffs. I know you boys are excited. Everything that we worked for in the summer, the long summer drafting, 700 plus teams. I think I pushed 800. But we're going to review some of these teams. We're going to review how Best Ball Mania went. We're going to look at some of the closing line value teams and how those performed using bestballoverlay.com. And we're going to take it from there. I have you guys sending me teams as well in the Discord. Post your favorite teams on the week 15 to week 17 chatter channel, and we will review your favorite BBM teams. Without further ado, let's dive in. I have to show this one. This is just, I have to show this one. Dude, T-Baller, a fellow pounder, passes me by 0.78 with massive. Who did he have? Puka? Who ended up doing it? Someone on Monday. Cincy? Oh, it was Dowdle. Dowdle did me dirty. Rightfully so. We were off Dowdle. No, right, sort of rightfully so. Let's actually start with the big board here. 1 out of 3 for the biggest board. I'm happy with it. I ran into a shit ton of injuries with these other teams too. I like the Lamar Kirk stack. I don't think that's really where we went wrong. AJ Dillon, even Zeke, like where we got him at pick 237. Like, I'm not too mad about pick 237 Zeke. Looking back and looking at the portfolio, and we'll go into the exposures as well, taking zeros with players like Jalen Wright, with Marshawn Lloyd, who I think ran bad, Roman Wilson, we were heavily on. Dude, they have no receiver 2 in that offense. I don't know if the process was necessarily bad on Roman Wilson, 3rd round pick. My God, just the injuries. And then obviously he didn't start off too hot in camp, but no freaking competition. Now Pickens is hurt. Like, who knows what would have happened if he stayed healthy. Shout out to NF42, my buddy Nick. He was off Mostert this year. He was on him the year before. Awesome process there. Too bad he was clicking Zamir White instead. Sorry, Nick. We got to get that in there. We also took the bet Parker Washington to score more points than Gabe Davis, 5-1 on a $20 bet. We cashed that, which is hilarious. An injury was always the process. And we'll get into process with players regarding injuries and all that. I think Dobbins is a really interesting conversation to have, where I think both sides of the coin got it right. Can he stay healthy? Crowd avoiding him? Answer's no. He gets hurt just in time for the playoff. However, the team did want to run the ball, and he was a lot better than Gus Edwards. I think both sides of the coin got that one right. But this one with Adams, Metcalf, O'Doon, Seawatt, Ladd, Darnell Mooney, Ricky Pearsall, Malik. So we take basically 3 zeros here. Malik Washington, he sort of ran bad too, where Odell started on the IR and Malik Washington gets hurt. He's been having trouble with injuries. Jonnu, Pitts, and Sanders. I don't even mind that 3. It's got to be the RBs like Mostert, Wright, Dillon, and Zeke. We're just losing too many points there with that crew. So actually, injuries did not affect that team. The other one, Dak, Kyler, and McCarthy with Achane, B-Rob, Chuba, Zach Charbonnet, Algier, and Will Shipley. Like big board, 20 rounds. I'm feeling pretty good about that. Lamb, Diggs, Kirk. Okay, so Diggs out for the year, Kirk out for the year. Cortland Sutton, Gabe Davis. Good thing I didn't go too heavy on Gabe this year. Instead, we draft a bunch of Burton. Like, so there's always like, oh yeah, I got this take right or very right. And then there's another player who ends up like putting up a big fat 0. But shout out to you boys. Appreciate you coming out, hanging with me. If you go ahead, smack the like on the live stream if you enjoy this type of content. We're going to be doing a week 15, a week 16. We'll review those teams as well. The ones that I have advancing, the ones that you guys have advancing. Pour one out for the Zamir drafters. Dude, I'm telling you, social media tricked you boys. Social media got you. All right. It was all in the horse. The second you found out he had a horse, I know for a fact you raised him up in your rankings. Oh God, McBride, Smith, and Gesicki, like, hey, that's pretty clean. That's pretty clean. The wide receiver injuries killed this team though. Diggs out, Kirk out, Roman's a 0, Burton's basically a 0. And God, the talent seems like it was there. When he played, he was making impact catches every game. Hey, shout out to Nick. He advances in this pod. Let's go. How about in this one? Any other pounders in this one? Over the Rhines, very familiar. But let's go to the advancing squad. Hey, go Vikes. Let's go. Pounder advancing. Shout out to Dennis Toast, who drafted with us. Omega. Let's check this one. I have a lot of Lamar advancing, boys. A lot of Lamar. Lamar and Rodgers with Barkley, Stevenson, Eckler. Kendray's live. Kendray's live. Ray Davis. Garrett Wilson, Waddle. Fucking Godwin. Godwin getting hurt twice as bad because, first off, I had a ton. And then secondly, I wasn't drafting a ton of Otten. So that one sucked. Rice, very similar. Drafting, I had 19% Rice. He was my number one owned receiver. 1% Kelsey. So like, yeah, Kelsey's hot and cold. He's mostly cold this year. Terrible pick for his ADP. I was completely comfortable with the fade. Maybe some of those big spike weeks that he did have this year don't come with Rice on the field. Who knows? Who knows? This team, I just drafted 100 receivers. I remember I timed out or I lost connection on this Anais Smith. We had him queued up and I was trying to unqueue him and we timed out there. But Andrews, Hawkinson, and Gesicki, I like this 3. Going into the finals, if I can get to the finals with, man, this one seems good. Roman and Burton are 0s. Bateman practice in full. Parker Washington is the wide receiver 2 now on this team. Live. AD, Waddle. God damn. It's not the best receiver room, but having Barkley, having Lamar, Stevenson even, Kendra is not completely dead. It's an interesting one. Let's actually just take a quick peek into the expos. Hey, Ty, I appreciate you, bro. Gifting one to the Poundies, who ended up getting it. I don't have my YouTube up, which means I did not like my own video. Steph, what's up? Good to see you. Yeah. So in the big board, we had Kendra Miller, 27.6%. And I honestly, I will say now I think we can name this guy injury prone. I think we can safely say college, basically missed all last year. This year's been a mess with injuries. I think we can declare him injury prone, but obviously didn't learn my lesson last year. And we went with 1% Kamara. We were leveraging it. Now Kamara's starting to slow down. Thank God. Thank God. But that one hurts, obviously. That one obviously hurts a lot. I want to say my Barkley was at 9.2%. My Henry was low. This was before we knew he ended up in Baltimore. Yeah, there's definitely some panic where I got up to like 12.5% in BBM on those drafts up of Henry. I wish I kept that exposure up with Barkley too. Burton, Algier, he's had a couple spikes, but sort of like Charbonnet, you need that injury to the number 1 to really have a huge impact. Maybe does he have a 2 touchdown game in him, just siphoning red zone touches away from Bijan in the finals? You could have something like that. This is going to suck. The Jags were a mess this year. The Jags were an absolute mess. But our QB1, he started at like 130, right? He started really, really, really low. Ingram, I think his run out's been absolute crap this year. Ford just wasn't getting the touches this year. And again, Cleveland was sort of a mess with Watson, Deshaun. And then Amari Cooper being there. We went a little heavier on Amari Cooper and then kind of faded Judy. Cooper gets moved. Judy's now popping. It's a wild game we play. And you never know what's going to happen in the middle of the season. And sometimes you're going to have these trade deadlines either help you or hurt you. Rashawn Johnson, I'm happy with the Rashawn click. I mean, we're talking about if DeAndre Swift missed time, you have the RB1. So identifying the RB2 in an offense, especially in the big board, is very important. That being said, do we get a ton of value from it? Not really, but we could have. That's really all that matters. That's process versus results. So I'm very happy with the Rashawn Johnson over Khalil Herbert process. Now, if we could just get a spike week. Oh, geez. Mooney was absolute flames. Mooney was going undrafted to start the big board. We didn't know he was going to end up in Atlanta, but our take sort of remained. He was going to be a wide receiver 3 on an offense. He goes to an offense where he is the wide receiver 2. So very much so the wide receiver 2 with Kyle Pitts taking just a back seat. And that's one we flopped on, which is fine. We leaned into Kirk Cousins and his history of passing the tight ends. Turns out Kyle Pitts is just a receiver, and he's not good at that. Ricky Pearsall, man, it seems like he should be doing more right now with Ayuk out. But we liked him as a prospect. Right. My process with Wright was, let me draft him in the big board before he runs the 40, and then I'll cool off him because of his player prototype. And I think we did exactly that. 16.3% in the big board. James Conner happens every year. Chris Rod actually had a relevant game. B-Rob, Godwin, 16%. Rip. Bowers, 15%. Lamar. So you can see some of the top expos. We were pretty even at QB. We had Lamar as our second favorite, but our favorite amongst the elites. Happy with that. Allen's way up there too, but what you're going to see is a Mahomes fade, which is really nice. Obviously helps us on the front end. Being able to fade players that are bad value are basically just as important as hitting. Now, when it gets to like later picks, players that didn't cost much, Dobbins, going to have a much, much bigger impact unless you have a season like Barkley did, unless you have a season like Chase did, and the players around them, the picks around them do very bad. That's what will impact the advance rates even more when you're right on that player. And you're going to see your advance rates from year to year. If you had a down year, you're under average. Like, what happened, right? Just dissect what happened. Was it bad roster construction? Was it bad process? Was it player takes? Was it injuries? Injuries can have a significant impact on your advance rates if your highest owned players get hurt. It's going to happen. So every year, your advance rates can wildly change. Wildly. You can reduce some of that. I go a very balanced approach. You're going to see like not any wild. We had 2 players. You can count this, 4 players, 20% or above. Waddle started in the 40s though for the big board. I get down to about 8% for BBMs. It's something you'll see, but zeros on the top 3 on what I think were pretty decent prospects heading in. Roman Wilson gets a really good landing spot. Jermaine Burton gets a really good landing spot. Turns out you can't fix the person. The character was tough. Big L. Losing Rice, losing Godwin sucked. Tight ends: Ingram, Bowers, Kmet, Pitts, brutal. Jonnu, Fant, I'm fine with. Schultz. This is before they brought in Diggs too, because I ended up slowing down on Schultz. Sanders, Ferguson. Big one's Bowers, second highest owned tight end. I love that. Jonnu Smith, another shout. He was not drafted in every draft. He was probably drafted in around, man, it was anywhere from like 40 to 60%. So this 14% goes a lot further because he wasn't picked in every single draft. He's someone that we made a priority once he went to Miami, and I ended up doubling down with Adam and making a little Pounders board bet. Jonnu Smith, 50 receptions or over. I definitely gave him odds on this. I was feeling good about it. I immediately was like, ooh, can I get odds on that? That's probably not the smartest. The dude is at 61 catches with like 4 weeks to go. 15, 16, 17. Yeah, 4 weeks to go. That's crazy. Jonnu's a smash this year. A McDaniels guy. Now maybe Jonnu sort of hurting Waddle a little bit, but Waddle's starting to heat up. McBride started in the 80s, which was insane. He didn't go there for too long. Faded Mark Andrews. We faded Kincaid. Faded Kelsey. Kittle, he's probably worth his ADP. The Hawk, I didn't add in too much Hawk. And then where is Laporta? Laporta, we're at 7.7. This came down in BBM too. So that's the big board expos. Let's go to some of the teams. We ran bad on our teams. Yeah, we came in third, right? I made you draft Dobbins with your last pick. Imagine, just amazing we didn't advance that. What's up, dude? What's going on, guys? All right, let's go to, and we'll get into the higher stake stuff as well. Let's go to the big board. We end up with 31 advancing, which I think is going to be just under. But when your top 3 receivers all get zeros, kind of expected. Yeah, about 20.5%. All right, let's have a peek. 3 live QBs. That's strong with Gibbs, Pacheco, Chuba. Pacheco could be a little lower owned. Roshan, Shipley's a 0. Clyde's a 0. Garrett Wilson, Cup, McLaurin, Addison, Chris Godwin, J-Mo, Quentin Johnson, Jermaine Burton. This team's nice. Laporta, Conklin, and Sanders. 3 live tight ends. That's a fun one. That's a fun one. Shout out to TB Bucks, Drew. Getting some run bad in that room. Purdy, Daniels, and Bryce. 3 live QBs. Najee, Chase, Gus, Jaleel, Braylon Allen, and Tank Bigsby. That's sneaky. Oh, that's sneaky. Oh, Braylon Allen with Brees out. We don't know how long he's going to be out for, but didn't practice today. Chase Brown's a hot commodity right now. Najee's nice. Hill, Debo, Neighbors. Why is every team got to have Rice or Godwin, bro? Why? Rome, Brian Thomas, Jonathan Mingo, and A.T. Perry. Dude, A.T. Perry was so buried. If he stayed in New Orleans, if the coach got fired sooner, man, they're hurting for receivers right now. Bowers, Fryermuth, and Jonnu. Dude, this one's strong. With JD. Now, if only Debo wasn't a shadow of himself this year. Maybe he's a low advance rate, nice piece that you can have week 17. Burrow and Kyler with Jacobs, Connor, Singletary, Gus, the bus, Algier, and Zeke at pick 198. Chase, Adams, T. So we get the Burrow double here with Cooper, Myers, Wilson, live, 6 live receivers. I'm not counting Burton. I refuse to. What happened here? 4 tutties, huh? Pat Fry, Gesicki, Sanders, and Ben Sinnott. Interesting. I don't have too many 4 tight end teams, so that'll be interesting to keep an eye on. Kyler Purdy. We'll review a couple more. B-Rob, Chase, Hubbard, Miller, Braylon, Roshan, and Zeke. I mean, I'll take it. I see a room of 7 RBs and there's no injuries. I'll just happily take it. Yes, Zeke counts as a 0, but Chase, Devo, Olave, O'Dunes, BTJ, Michael Wilson, Jermaine Burton, and Dortch. Dortch was such a bad pick. McBride, Fant, and Theo Johnson. We have to. How much Dortch did we end up with? 1.5%. I was gonna say he wasn't a hashtag my guy. It wasn't short king summer for me. But that's the gist of the big board teams. We created a lot of 3 QB teams. Could have ran a little better with the top expos, but so it be. So for BBM post NFL draft, Roshan ended up as our number 1. He was our only player over 22.7%. And again, happy with the process. Results haven't been terrible. What's he have? 6 touchdowns on the year? It's he hasn't created spike weeks from them. Most of them are like 7-point games, 8-point games. But where he went didn't really hurt you. And again, the process of identifying the RB2 in the offense is what matters, because if Swift was out, he probably would be impacting advance rates with some spike weeks. Henry, one of the only pieces from New England you really wanted. The targets have been there even as of late. Like 83 targets is good. Ran Cole with tutties. Rookie QB. O-line's trash. Kind of expected, but maybe he heats up towards the end here. That'd be nice to see. Stevenson, Singletary, B-Rob, Charbonnet. Even Stevenson, I don't mind. He wasn't a terrible advance rate pick. The O-line, we knew it was really bad going in. He still had some spike weeks, though. TJ, what's up, dude? Do you think it's a disadvantage to have super chalky advancing teams? Tons of Jamar Chase, Saquon, because 50,000 teams in BBM have Jamar. Yeah, yes and no. So the way I look at it is if you have a player that's hot, that you need, that has the potential to put up a massive spike week, I'm not ever mad to see that person on my team. Example, CeeDee Lamb, a very good advance rate piece last year, obviously, was a piece you needed in week 17. That's how he came in third in the Dalmatian. Not every team's going to have them. Again, they could have one bad week. They could have a bad week 15. And it's got to be really a player that goes in the first 2 rounds. Someone that you had to use a good amount of investment in that has an absolute bust, right? They don't help hit the lineup for that to lower more for the following week. But yeah, I'm not mad if I have a Barkley team going into week 17 and there's just so many other players on your team, your roster to get different from. You can sell yourself on it, and usually you'll see, and it's like, oh man, only the ugly teams advance. But I had a pretty one last year. It's hard to look at, but Rashee Rice, 18.5% for BBM NFL post NFL draft expos was tough. Downs, we absolutely smashed this. Even on the injury, we continued to draft him as he fell. And I mean, he gets hurt again, sort of unlucky, but he should be back. And I'm happy to have Downs on my teams. Gibson, I think every sharp in the whole industry whiffed on Gibson. I think everyone whiffed on Ty Chandler, and the usage of those two guys just really hasn't been there. But QBs, our top exposures were actually 2 elites, Lamar and Josh Allen, followed by Purdy, A-Rich, Dak, run bad, T-Law. Levis is live. Deshaun Watson, 9%. Daniels should have ended up with a lot more Daniels. Obviously, looking back in hindsight's 2020. But Gibson got usage again before the bye. Yeah, he had ended up with a touchdown, right? So it's not completely dead. He's not hurt, but doesn't look amazing. Chase Brown. A lot of people like Zach Moss. A lot of sharps were on Zach Moss. I don't know. And obviously he runs into an injury, and Chase Brown hits the nuts with that, becoming the starter. They bring over Khalil Herbert, and his first touch is a freaking fumble. I don't know if he recovered or if he actually lost. I forget. But he hasn't been able to really pick up steam with the team. Connor. Dude, it was never Trey Benson, guys. I'm sorry. It was never Trey Benson. Derrick Henry at 13.4%. And that's social pressure of drafting with you guys watching, with all the wide receiver bros out there, and me cooking Henry in the 3rd round or 4th round. I ended up with 13.4%. Now, I wish that was Barkley as well, but I'll take it. Chuba, probably one of the better picks this whole entire year. Obviously, Brooks gets hurt. He came back later than people were hoping that were on Jonathan Brooks, but I never felt good when I was drafting Brooks. It was more like I need to have probably at least 2 anchor RBs before I added Brooks onto the team. And he hurt advance rates because of it, because he has no games giving you points. ETN was brutal. Elliott was brutal. We'll see a couple Steph teams that we discussed drafting Elliott in order to pick up like rookies like Jalen Wright, Spike Week guys. I remember the conversations like vividly. But B-Rob was happy with. Najee was very happy with. Tony Pollard. Oh, look at us. So lucky getting the one spot at 10.3%. Look at me. I run so good. I run. Oh God, it's good. Tank Bigsby. A lot of people didn't like the click. A lot of people were going like Foreman. Again, trying to identify the RB2 in the offense. Something happens to the RB1. It's interesting to see like both of these guys above 8%, right? With DTN and Tank. So Tank's been nice. He's provided a few spike weeks for an round 18 guy. J.K. Dobbins, Joe Mixon, Achan. We're good on the Taylor fade. Kyron. There's the Barkley. Brutal. There's some good fades in here, and then there's some bad fades. Javonte, good fade. Jalen Wright, good fade. Dowdle, bad fade. James Cook, good fade. Swift, probably somewhere in the middle. Tracy, bad fade. You have hits, and you have misses, and that's the game of best ball, and every year is different. Kamara, probably one of the most impactful at 2.2%. Barkley being at, 4.5%? Not as bad. I think in BBM, I got to like 5 point something. So it also depends what contest, right, that you're drafting. Let's go into some of the higher stake stuff. The Dalmatian, we did 1 out of 3. So we end up with 2 out of 6 on the higher stake stuff. This is where I believe the injuries killed us. This was a Pounders draft. Shout out to FF Links. Crushing the pod. Cousins, Watson, Mayfield, Hall, Stevenson, Dave Montgomery, Singletary, and Corum just doing nothing this year. Adams, Diggs, injury. Cooper, Godwin out. Rondell Moore out before like basically the season started with an ACL. Baker was a big fat 0 this season. Palmer, I want to say Palmer is just bad process. Ended up with a good amount of lad, but I think I just basically faded the Chargers, and it didn't really hurt me too bad. I don't think it actually hurt me at all. Kyle Pitts and Henry. Kyle Pitts was such a bad pick this year. Davis Peng. This is another Pounders draft. Lamar and Derek Carr. Taylor, Pacheco, Pollard, Kendre, and Estime. And again, should anyone really be surprised when we have a bad running back class and none of the running backs really pop off? And like Bucky Irving's one that comes to mind that smashed. Now he's hurt. And the team told you he wasn't hurt last week, but he was hurt. That sucked. That sucked for battle royale purposes. Tyreek Hill, DJ Moore, BTJ, Rice, beautiful. Sutton, Shaheed, beautiful. 2 IRs, Dobbs and Wandale, Schultz, Juwan, and Fant. That is not a lot of points from 3 tight ends. That is just not a lot of points. But yeah, losing Rice really sucked. It really sucked for me this year. At least he's not on the advancing team. We got Godwin, though. Lamar, Baker, and Drake May, 3 live QBs. Harris, Stevenson, Singletary, Zeke, and Braylon Allen. Oof. Harris, Stevenson, and Allen, hopefully. Garrett Wilson, London, Tank Dell. Like that. Godwin and Shaheed again. Super smashes. Big smashes. Polk, Miss, Johnson, and McMillan are fine. Kittle and Henry's. I'm okay with that. We got some New England correlation. Man, freaking New England can't find a receiver in the draft to save their lives. To save their goddamn lives. I feel like before, if I wore something Patriots, it'd be like controversial. People like wouldn't like you back in like 2019, 20, like when Brady's still there. But like now you can because everyone feels bad for you. All right. The single entry Bulldog. I wasn't going to enter it. And then I decided I'm just going to come in first place. Jalen Hurts and Bakey Bake with Najee, B-Rob, Zach Charbonnet, Chuba Hubbard. This team's heating up. AJ Brown, Marv Diggs. Godwin. Oh, why? 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 2 players on the IR. Coleman, Downs, Robinson, and Tolbert. Okay, so 3, 4, 5, 6. We still have 6 live receivers, but this tournament is 1 out of 10, I believe, for the next round. Andrews and Njoku's strong. Is this one live, boys? Is this one? It's got to be live, but you don't feel great. I don't think Keon Coleman fully participating in a walkthrough. He's probably on the fence. I don't think Josh Downs. Okay, he returned to limited. That's good sign. Good. We need receivers to play. I would really like to advance in this contest. The setup of this one was really fun. Let me pull up the Bulldog, the $75 single entry, 50K to first, 3,000 entrants. It's 2 out of 10. Okay, good. 2 out of 10, 2 out of 10. We're super live. 20-seat final. So if you're making the finals, you're looking at a G note off the bat, and it just goes up so fast. Goes up quick. It's not like all the money's at the top. There is 25% though, which is a good amount. And there's over 10% to second, which I like these contests. And what they did here in order to get more money at the top, but also divvy it out going down too. It's not like a sharp fall off. What they're able to do this because they don't pay out the first round. So if you make it out of the first round, like we're advancing, but you're not making your money back. You have to advance to week 16. You have to advance to week 16 before you make $25. And then week 17, obviously, bazam. Well, I guess you could finish third in some of those pods and you can make 200, make 125, whatever. But all the money is in week 17. I liked the way that was sort of designed. I wish they did a little more with smaller stakes with that same setup, with more money on week 17 and not giving that min payout to 15,000 people for $3 or $5. You just add that to week 17. So when you're there, when you get to week 17, it's more impactful. And I just really like the setup, and that's what made me end up entering the contest. Steph, I'm sorry. Let's review the Steph teams first. Hey, shout out to it's top 2 advance. Sorry, Tyler, bro. Goddamn. Well, Tyler gets the best of us by 9 points, but none of us were even close in this pod. Hurts and Daniel Jones with Mixon, Stevenson, B-Rob. It's not even that bad at RB until you get to Zeke and Herbert. And I remember the Zeke click vividly with Steph on stream. I want to say it was me. AJ Brown, Samuel, Diggs, IR, Addison, Myers, Gabe, Wandale. Just too many zeros. Gabe Davis was just a bad pick this year. Jags had a bad run out, but tight ends killed us on this one, I think. Tight ends, we could have advanced with this RB room. Lost a good amount of points at receiver, but tight end was really bad. 125 total points. Yeesh. And then this one, a little tenther. Oh, we had 0 QBs for several weeks. A-Rich was benched and Dak was out with an injury. So that'll just kill your squad. Henry, Singletary, Zeke, Dobbins, Tank Bigsby, and Trace Sermon should have been Mason, and it wouldn't have mattered. So let's go to the receivers. Marv, Drake London. It's an understatement how bad of a pick and how hyped up Marvin Harrison was this year on the back end of the first round. That being said, a lot of people are drafting Garrett Wilson, and he probably didn't do too much better. Mari Cooper, Odunze, Dobbs, AD, Malik, Dortch, the receivers are just super mid. Dobbs, I think, had just a weird run out this year. A couple different injuries, but his usage was always there. Like, he's number 1 in snaps back-to-back years, but just not doing anything really with it. Maybe he can be a week 17 guy, though. Ferguson, I think, had a terrible run out this year, and Henry was what it was for pick, whatever, 160 to 180. The two advancing, Jalen Hurts and T-Law, so it's going to be a 1 QB team, sort of limits us. Achane, Pollard, Ford, Dobbins, thanks for helping out. Antonio Gibson and Tank Bigsby. 5 live RBs, but Pollard might not play this week. Bothered by ankle. Bro. Now's not the time. Is Njoku healthy? I don't know if he's hurt. If someone knows that he's hurt, let me know. That'd be the first I hear. Was in the biggest boardroom with you. Appreciate you not shaming my Zamir White Dortch team. What's going on, guys? It's great to see you. Thanks for hanging out. If you guys haven't already, go down, slap the like on the live stream. Also, afterwards, if you guys drop a comment, it helps the video. So YouTube algorithm, like maybe someday I'll be good at Bestball, but I just, the YouTube thing, can't beat the algorithm, man. The Pippa was my best tournament. I think 60% advance rates. That's sick. And you'll see tournaments where you did bad, and you'll see tournaments where you did good because you were either focusing a player, trying to get them at a certain ADP before they rose, or you're avoiding players. So you'll see different tournaments with very different advance rates too throughout the summer. Think Njoku's missing this week. Hammy. Damn. I'm going to have a lot of Njoku teams. Maybe not too much. I think I ended up with like 11%. Amon-Ra Smith, Terry, Deontay Johnson, BTJ, Josh Johnson. Like, this is a good team. This is a good team. Deontay Johnson's just probably a 0 at this point with the suspension. Maybe he comes back and tries to fit in, but Bowers and Colby Parkinson. I like the Bowers on this squad. Yeah, this is pretty good. BTJ still pulling in a crazy amount of targets. Yes, they're from Mac Jones. Probably a low percent chance to score a touchdown, but that's what we have. Jordan Love and Tua. Achane, Jacobs, Connor, Gibson, and Dante Foreman. Chase, Evans, Rice, Seawalt, Palmer, Downs, McMillan, and Malik with Pat Fry and Jonnu. Live with those two. That's what's... I mean, we clearly went Jonnu after Musgrave too. Sort of saved this team, I think. Also gave us another stack. So leaning into the Tua stack, that was our only stack, huh? No, we went with the full backdoor with Malik and Achane. Cool. That's a different way to get there. I don't mind this team. It's a little thin at receiver. Chase, Evans, Seawalt, Palmer, Downs, McMillan. You could get a random spike week. Let me actually see what the Malik Washington usage has been the last few weeks. I'm sort of curious. Can we call this ramping? Is this ramping? 34, 38, 42? You got Odell going down. I mean, it's not a bad sign. All right, I'll stop selling it. It's tough. Tough take. Yeah, there's going to be someone, though. Someone's going to be the hero this year. We're not sure. Not exactly sure who. You know who's heating up is Tim Patrick. 2 tutties last game. It's pretty cool. The 1 year I don't draft Tim Patrick. Sounds about right. The Greyhound, was this a single entry? This was a single entry. Ooh, 1 out of 5, 1 out of 4, 53 seat final. Let's get intimate now. 30K to first, 10% to second. So the money's at the top on this one. I don't think it pays. Oh, it does pay money back. So imagine if it didn't pay the money back to those 847 teams. Quick math. No biggie. You're giving $35 times 847. So like 20,000 plus. And just divvying it out. If you just pay round 2 of the playoffs and up, I like that style. But whatever. There's still plenty of money at the top here. Plenty of money at the top. Top 10 making 3K. Pretty good. 53 seat finals. So the min payout, if you make the finals on this one, is $750. It's very nice. Lamar Jackson and Dak. I hate seeing just one QB. I don't know about you boys. I hate seeing one QB. My Greyhound got in by 0.28. Let's go. Let's go. Love that. H.A.N. Montgomery, Gus, Zach Charbonnet, and Bucky with Clyde. Did Clyde have to be there though? That's sick. I'm pretty happy with those 5 RBs. If K-Walk can't go, Charbonnet should have a pretty good week. I don't know if Bucky's going to play. Sits out today. It's not a good sign. Lamb, Waddle, T. Higgs, Sutton, Shaheed, Roman Wilson, Wandale, and Zay Jones. Kittle and Henry, I'm happy with that. I like the RBs. If we can get a little bit of luck with like Bucky returning for week 6 or something, I'm pretty high on Lamar for these next few weeks. Team that wants to win, so they have incentive to try to win. Roman's a 0. Shaheed's a 0 due to the IR. St. Jones, you can count as a 0, I think. Wandale, I'm pretty happy with these 5 receivers, though. It's not completely dead in a 2 out of 5 advance, right? 1 out of 5, 1 out of 4 for this one, for the Greyhound. Yeah, great format. I hope they do a lot more of these single entry type formats next year, because I love that. I love that style. All right, BBM. We end up with 20 in BBM, and let's just do a quick expo check of, oh man, it's been a minute. So used to using bestballoverlay.com. Expo check. So in BBM, we actually had Hunter Henry as our number 1 ownership. Rashawn Johnson, Tony Gibson, B-Rob, Cooper, Singletary, Ty Chan. So like Chandler, Gibson, man, those are tough. But again, there's so many zeros in that range too. This is like the range of Ricky Pearsall, Roman Wilson, Jalen Wright. There's just a lot of zeros in that range. Obviously, knowing what we know now, we probably wouldn't draft those guys. But also, they haven't ran too hot with injuries, right? So it's interesting. I'm talking about injuries to the 1 too. Singletary gets hurt, loses the job, hasn't been the same since. But he's provided a few spike weeks. It's just you were either on the Tracy side or the Singletary side. What's the news on Burton? Goes without a target again Monday. Yeah. The spice on Yoshi picked up in, I want to say, June, July. And yeah, that's sort of when you got that price dip on Burton and Yoshi started to get mixed in. I'm happy with the Charbonnet. Malik was tough. Hyatt was tough. The Giants were just a dumpster fire, to be honest. The Giants were a dumpster fire. Who else was a dumpster fire? The Chiefs were worthy. We get Hopkins to move over to KC. Is kind of funny. Pacheco, unlucky with the injury. Philly sort of ran cold too. AJ Brown, like the past games, just so we ended up with 5.3% BBM, which is nice. Barkley. If there's a team you guys want to see the expos on, just put it in the chat. More than happy to show it. Try to think of some that are like really. Let's go Indy. Downs, Richardson, 5% Pittman, 5% Taylor. Really low on AD. Jelani. 49ers. 49ers, we're heavy on Debo. But at least we correlated with Purdy. Above average on Ayuk. almost at field with Kittle. We get lucky, I guess, in BBM, only 7.3% CMC. Ricky at 5%, 4% Mason. And I want to attribute this to doing about 30 drafts. I think I did about 30 drafts in August. Next year, I'm going to save 50. It's just tough for me to get so many out. And then you're battling the clock too, because it starts to fill. So you're battling the fill rate, how many days you have left before the kickoff. And there's just a couple working parts. Panthers is a fun one. Who do we have for Panthers? Panthers we smashed. Except for Thielen, bro. Thielen now gets this nut result. Like Deontay Johnson gets moved. Now Deontay Johnson just sucks. And Thielen's fucking king again because he's brand new. He hasn't been used all year. He's got a good run out. Thielen's got a good run out. I don't know if I'm afraid of it, but like I could at least admit it. Last week for Dog Bowls, I said Thielen, Shakir, and there was one more. Mooney were my three favorite late picks, and all of them scored pretty similar points in that 18-19 range. I think Mooney had the least. But yeah, you will see adjustments in exposures from contest to contest as well. Keeps it interesting. We actually have a good amount of Parker Washington. So that's interesting. 7.3% Parker Washington. Now, how many of those teams are advancing? Probably a few, because even a 0 in that range isn't going to do anything. Washington. Let's check the Washington expos. B-Rob at 20%. I think he ran sort of cold with injuries too, but no Eckler now to end the season. Could see some pretty big scores. JD, I guess only 6% in BBM. I don't really remember that. I'm trying to catch up in BBM, but we had around 8.9% post NFL draft. So it might have dropped the ball there. And that's why it's so helpful to have something like bestballoverlay.com where it's showing you your exposures. And I started using that in, my God, was it June? We released it in June when I started using it. So it's been a lot helpful. And I was able to correct some of the player exposures that I was low on. Dobbins ended up with 8.7%. Puka. If you're drafting Puka at the end of the drafts, end of round one, like you're feeling pretty good right now, I would say. He's starting to heat up in a major way. But again, I think this year, the adjustment for me personally in my expos is it's going to be just reduce the amount of zeros. And that it goes to say it seems so obvious, but you're also trying to find these rookies, right? That breakout. So it's that fine balance of, okay, does that mean I should set a percent? How much do you believe in that player? What's the situation? What happens if an injury occurs? So like I invested all my stock into Rashee Rice in Casey, and I had 1% Kelsey. It's like, what happens if Rice gets hurt? Do we just accept it? Are you just okay with it? I tend to be. I just lean heavy into the takes. It is what it is. A lot of Lamar teams. Lamar and Geno advancing with Hall, Montgomery, Swift, Chuba. Very fun. Adams, DK, BTJ, Palmer, Myers, Polk, Mooney, Bateman, Parker, Washington. Is finally a team with no one on the IR? I mean, like Polk's buried. Trey Sermon's a 0. So, I mean, you could say there's 2 zeros on this team, but that's fine. Still a pretty nice team. CJ Stroud, Goff, Fields. I didn't have too much Fields. I had like 2%. I also had like 2.5% Russ. I think that was higher, obviously, in some of the super flexes, but Singletary, Pollard, Mixon, Chandler, and Chuba. Chuba is just such a good pick. Pick 148. So insane. Monrod, Nico, Ayuk, Cooper, Pickens, Bateman, Hyatt. This crazy Hyatt didn't get a single point. Bowers, Conklin, and Jonnu. Strong. Okay. 2.5 QBs, 3 tight ends. Team's not too bad. This one's live. I wouldn't be surprised if something like this just made it through. just snuck its way through. Cooper maybe heating up. Amari Cooper heating up. Why is Underdog taking so long to advance and pay out? Yeah, I believe I saw Thursday for the notification. They're going to do their last minute stat corrections, and then you're going to get potted tomorrow. Burton only played 2 snaps. Yeah, he's just buried. It's a character issue with Burton. It's not, in my opinion, it's not skill level. That's life, dude. Frank, the great Frank. Lamar and Burrow. Let's go. Montgomery, Chase Brown, Ford, Corum, Dobbins, and Tracy. Thank God for Tracy on this team. You never know with Corum. You would need an injury to Kyron, but J.K. Dobbins, he's going to get a lot of teams there. I want to say his advance rate was close to 30%. You could probably do a quick check on bbmdb.com for his advance rates, but it was good. And he had the people that faded him because of the injury, and I think that's completely fine too. He gets hurt. He's on the IR. He's going to miss the fantasy football playoffs. So he's another 0 that people have, but I think I would still rather the advance rates. Just more teams advancing, because there were so many 0s in that range anyways where he was being drafted. Pick 141. That I don't think it's going to hurt you too much. You always look at these BBM teams that win. You're like, teams got 2 0s. Even the teams that when they're doing the regular season prize, there were 0s on those teams. Jamar Chase, Waddle, Ayuk, Cooper, Deontay Johnson, Mooney, and Burton. God, fuck me. With Dolchich, this one's not doing it. This one's not the one, boys. That one's not the one. I got my $25 back. That's it. Josh Allen and Knicks. Play ball. Play ball. Mixon, Connor, Chase Brown, Jalen Wright, Jalen Allen, Jordan Mason. Dude, in one of my redraft leagues, I had CMC and Jordan Mason on my team. I usually don't handcuff myself. This is a trade pick league where I had like 2 picks in the first, 2 picks in the second. Team was very strong. And I handcuffed myself with Jordan Mason, the last pick of the draft. And they both get hurt in the same game. Crazy. Amon-Ra, Waddle, DJ Moore, Sutton, Shakir, Polk, Mike Williams, Dortch, bro. Kincaid and Fant. Okay, so we got a little Buffalo double stack of Rooski. Like to see that with Shakir and Kincaid. It's just crazy how Josh Allen can score 50 points and no receiver or pass catcher puts up 20. Like, it's a Josh Allen thing, man. It's a Josh Allen thing. All right, this one's with Pete. Purdy, May, and Bo Nix. Henry, Aaron Jones, Stevenson, Corum, and Mason. Oh, God, we're running into this with 3 RBs. Puka, Debo, Zay, Ridley, Wicks, Ricky, Douglas, and Mims. There's a wide array on this team. It's not bad. It's not bad at all. Stroud and Caleb, Bijan, Jacobs, Edwards, Chuba, and Kendra, hashtag live, please. Hashtag live. Drake London, Diggs, Flowers, O'Dunes, Addison Polk, Douglas Tolbert. Very nice. All right. Let's pull up some of your guys' teams that you drafted. Okay, we got 14 teams to cover. These were posted in the Discord in the week 15 to 17 chatter. Your favorite BBM teams. This one's from Abstract. Let me just make sure that's popping up. Yeah, you guys can see that. Caleb Rogers. Bijan Barkley. Oh, strong. K-Walk, Al. DJ Moore, T. Higgs, McLaurin, J-Mo, Curse Samuel, Mooney, Douglas, Elijah Moore. You're feeling good. 3 live tight ends. That's a strong team. It's a lot of live players. Shout out to Kevin K-Mac. I might have to open this in a browser, though. Kyler, Bo Nix, Jones, Jacobs, Connor, Chase Brown, Dowdle, Jaleel, and Tracy. Holy smokes. Holy smokes, that's strong. Is that Dobbins? Was that 25%? JJ, Neighbors, Cup, Addison, Dobbs. Just a very strong team with a lot of live players. You don't love having one tight end, but there are worse problems to have. There's a lot of live players on this team. A lot of players that they're trending in a positive way. Even Jaleel McLaughlin last week getting what? 84 yards or something? 14 touches, something. Awesome. That's awesome. These are the types of teams that excite me. The teams that are trending up at the end of the year. Stroud, Bryce Young, and Rodgers with Henry, Mixon, Mostert, Zach Charbonnet, and Hubbard. Amon-Ra, Nico, T. Higgs, O'Dunes, Brennan Cooks will get. Oh, you like this. Bowers, Otten, and Likely. Don't be potted with me, please. One time. We got to hit the fire emoji for that one. Want to what? These both get fire emojis. God damn. Don't be in my pod, please. Burrow, Herbert, Fields, Taylor, HN. So Taylor's an interesting one where his advance rate was probably sub 10%. He could be an interesting piece to have. Taylor, HN, Chubb, Irving. Jamar Chase, Pickens, T. Higgs, Ladd, Rice, Judy, Burton, Calvin Austin, Bowers, and Henry's nice. Musgrave practice today? No way. Don't say it. That's crazy. That's crazy. I'm sorry. He's not it. I don't care if he's practiced or not. That's so funny. We're not doing this. Kev, we're not doing this again. All right? Cut ties. Cut ties. A-Mac in the house. Favorite team, Burrow, Mayfield, Pollard, Chase Brown, Bucky, Kamani, Tracy, Bigsby, live. Tyreek, Devonta Adams, Mike Evans, T. Higgs, Keenan, Ladd, Dobbs, Ingram, and Hawkinson. Oh, that's sick. Shout out to Shoobs. I think he's had a very good Battle Royale season so far, too. Seen him at the top a lot, I feel like. Burrow, 1 QB. Gibbs, Jacobs, Connor, Mostert, and Javante. Chase, DK, Flowers, Myers, Judy, Ricky, Burton, Yoshi, Kittle, Fant, and Juwan. It's live. It's live. Burrow's been playing good ball, and their defense can't stop anything right now. So this one was drafted on July 5th by 0. Burrow and Bake, Josh Jacobs, Chase Brown, Tajay, Rico, Estime, and Elijah Mitchell, Chase Adams, Mike Evans, Pickens, Ladd, Addison, Leggett, and McMillan. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Bowers and Otten. Let's go. This one's nice. This one's nice. You have the Achilles heels, the RBs. Dowdle, Chase Brown, Jacobs. Can Spears add to the mix? Can Estime maybe earn some touches? A little limited at RB, but very strong everywhere else. Hurts and Staffy. Connor, Pollard, Chase Brown, Rico, Ty Chandler, and Bucky. Nice, Bry. Jamar Chase, Debo, Cup, Hopkins, Wicks, Demarcus Robinson, Tolbert, and Boyd. With McBride and Kittle, very strong. Double elite tight end. Oh, you feel good about this. You feel pretty good about this. You need something from Debo this week, though. We all do. We all do. What a dumpster fire San Fran was this year. All right, Steph has 3 favorites. Of course you do. Of course, Steph, of course you got 3 favorites. Tua, Staffy, and Deshaun, H.A. Montgomery, Warren. How did I know I was going to see Jaylen Warren on this team? Right before I opened it. Tyreek Hill, Cup, Amari Cooper, BTJ, Judy's heating up, Downs, Wandale, Jordan Whittington, live, Laporta and Bowers. Oh, yeah. It's nice. This is nice. RB's thin, but my God, a little bit of pod luck. You're in for it. This is a pretty cool team. Tyreek Hill is going to have a super low advance rate this year, I would imagine. I just sent a few. All right, we'll give you. Steph gets the special treatment. She gets 2. Jane Daniels and Goff, Kyron, Joe Mixon, Singletary, Eckler, Rip, Estime again, kind of thin at RB. just with what's left. Amon-Ra, Nico, Terry, so strong at receiver. Palmer, Mooney, Michael Wilson, Juwan Jennings, and Andrews and K. Dotton's a nice pairing. Oh, man. Can we just go back in time? Mahomes, not tackle his own guy, like directly in the knee. And then what even happened at the end of that Tampa Bay game? I remember people were complaining like, oh, why even go for it? It's like 2-score game is still time on the clock. You're gonna play ball. Like it is what it is. Who's this? I just blacked out. Shout out to Stars. Let's go. Jalen Hurts and Mayfield, Montgomery, Connor, B-Rob, Chase Brown. Dude, talk about hitting on every single pick. Oh, that's beautiful. Everyone contributing over 100 points too. Lamb, Mike Evans, Smith, Terry, Leggett, QJ, Jalen McMillan, and Robinson with 2 live tight ends. But Goddard just getting hurt, last week? Holy smokes. Oh, God. This is a sick one. I would have that one starred. That one's special, man. So I'll be buying 10% of the stock in that team. What's your Venmo? Bry, Allen, Burrow, Cook, Pollard, Chase Brown, McLaughlin, Keaton Mitchell, Rico Dowdle, and AJ Dillon with Chase. This got to be a big board team, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Good try, Bry. Good try. I may be over 30, but my eyes still work. I saw that. Did you say it was big board? You did. I'm an idiot. It's fine. Oh, God. Trenny in the house with Burrow and Tua with Jacobs, Connor, Gus, Jalen Wright, Justice Hill, Tank Bigsby, Chase Waddle, Adams, McLaurin, Brandon Cooks, Wandale. Interesting team. Brandon Cooks just coming back. Gets 1 touch, 1 catch. It's a tutty. Man, Dallas a dumpster fire. San Fran's a dumpster fire. We need to go back in time. Reverse the clock. See this all coming. It's so obvious. Joe Burrow, Danielson, Staffy for stars. Kyron, Connor, Gus. Which is like Gus is more live now than ever, right? Oh, man. Kamani Vidal maybe making an entrance. Garendo. I don't know if he's going to play this week, but I'm sorry. The Garendo. The people are going heavy on Garendo. Shout out to Frank. Like, he lucks out in this case, but my God, the dude was inactive for most of the season. This one's nice. Luke McCaffrey. It was someone I think I drafted $6 worth this year. I just didn't see it. Another one, Brendan Rice. I think I spent $6 on this year. Just went into the take on, I don't think they're talented. Oh, man. Instead, I probably drafted another 0. So victory lap and then head right back. Jeff with this one. Lamar and Love strong. H.M., Barkley, Warren, Chubb, and Bucky. Dude, get to a spot where Bucky's playing. And I mean, you're still super live, but fuck. That's nice. Tyreek, Addison, Seawatt, Wicks, Myers, Leggett, Bateman, McMillan, Andrews. Wow, dude. This team's strong. Got some double stacks in there. This team's strong. Holy smokes. Dude. Pounder's actually going to town. Oh, how many? I just got to see like how many we got. We got a few more minutes. Let me hit sus here. Did we do one of Trenny's? I believe I did one of Zeros. Puppy 2 shipper. Check these out in the Discord, guys. I'll put a link too. And I'll be checking these out as well later tonight off stream. But join the Discord if you guys haven't already. The link is in the comments. Link is in the description. Hit the like on the video. All those good things. Drop, if you're feeling crazy, want to support the channel, drop a comment after the video post. It really does help the YouTube algo. Probably provide you some BBM5 finals luck. I don't know. That's the word on the street. I'm not saying it. It's just everyone else. Just thought I'd repeat it. Sus. Jalen Hurts, Staffy, Mixon, Montgomery, Connor, Corum, and Rico. Feeling good about that. AJ Brown, Nico Cup, Ridley. This is like one of the first Ridley shares I've seen, I feel like, which is crazy. Jahan Dotson, Darnell Mooney, McMillan, and DJ Chark Doo-Doo. Njoku, Likely, and Juwan. It's live. Should have had a bell for this content. I don't think we did one of Shock's. We gotta shout out Shock, man. Josh Allen and Joe Burr. Derrick Henry, Barkley, Chase Brown, Tank Bigsby. We live. Ty Chandler's live. But we live. Jamar Chase, Deontay Johnson, Pickens, probably gonna miss this week. Ridley, Wandell, Shakir, Douglas, Odell. Okay, so you're not feeling too good about Douglas, just due to snaps. You're gonna need the flex to come from RB. Yeah, Henry and Pat Fry. Dude, Pat Fry probably in a good situation this week with no Pickens. Someone that I picked up in my at-home league because I lost Goddard. I lost someone else too. What's up, Ant? Caleb and Justin Herbert, Josh Jacobs, Kamara, James Conner, Hubbard, Khalil Herbert, and RJ. My dude. These are my kind of people. Amon-Ra, Nico, DJ Moore, Mari, Tyler Lockett, QJ, Michael Wilson, Khalif with Kittle and Bowers. Oh, Kittle and Bowers. So strong. That's a sick combo. Dude, Trey McBride would have been he's having a good year. Had a great year if the guy wasn't allergic to the red zone. He's just allergic. All right, this was sent to us in 3 parts. Purdy, Tua, Kyron, Al, Kamara, Najee, Charbonnet, Hubbard, and Tank Bigsby. How many live RBs do you have? Receivers, Tyreek Hill, Debo, Hollywood, Hopkins, Lockett, Burton, Slayton, Juwan Jennings. You're feeling good about that. McBride and Henry. Ooh, that one's spicy. Really nice, guys. Really nice. Alex in the house. We'll do 2 more. Alex and 1 more. Lamar and Rogers, Jacobs, Aaron Jones, Swift, Zeke, and Tracy. Justin Jefferson, Debo, DK, Lockett, Mike Williams, Dotson, Thielen, and Robinson with Kittle, Jonnu, and Jaceki. I love that. I love that so much. You get an elite. You get 2 discount guys at the end. Put up freaking what? Almost 300 points at tight end. 80. That's 235. Say 240, 280. Like just under 280. Oh, it's going to give you a pretty nice advantage in the room. It's a sick one. Shout out to Brat. Dak, Staffy, Gino. 2 QBs. Henry, James Cook, Chase, Bucky, Tracy. Very, very nice at RB. Puka, Cup got the double. Reed, Sutton, Hopkins. Live at receiver. McBride, Schultz, and Sinnott. That's fine, dude. That's fine. You need, and what's probably a good thing, can LA can still make the playoffs, right? After they beat Buffalo. I think that was a big win for them. So they're going to be balling. They're going to be balling on the way out. KC still fighting for the bye. So they need a win. Dude, that's sick. All right. We got Nick Bach. He's active in Discord. This is the last one, boys. Daniels, Herbert, Deshaun, Levis. So 3 active QBs. Hyper fragile with Garendo? What? No. Hey, Josh, what's up, brother? It's good to see you, dude. Hyper fragile with Garendo? This is a crime. In 49 states. Deactivate this man's account. This one's crazy. Puka, Terry, O'Dunes, Hopkins, Seawat, Judy, Luke McCaffrey. There's a lot of zeros on this team, but so Deshaun Watson's out. Luke McCaffrey's basically, he's live. give him that. Luke's, he's on the field still. DJ Chark. I mean, unbelievable. This team just blew my mind. Hyperfragile with Garendo. I have some hyperfragile with RJ. That one's crazy. that one got me good, man. That one got me good, actually. But pretty happy with how the season went. I'm very happy with like just the process of everything. Being able to just see my exposures when I was drafting did help in June. Gave me 3 months to readjust. But looking forward to next year. We have some in the rookies and sophomores. Lost 4 teams for BBM on that Monday night game. I needed Chase to like not blow up. Happened. And I need Dowdle to not put up over 15. Just a lot of stuff. We could have advanced 19 to 27, 19 to 26. We ended up with 20. So kind of on the unlucky end with how that game played out, but pretty happy with everything else. Weekly winners has been trash. I've had like 2 sweats. And the last one was just blown up by a Monday game too. Marathon, we've had a little success, but again, I only did 19. This should have been just a regular tournament and we would have advanced 3, 4, 5. That would have been better. But yeah, the top team, I think I'm going to lose like $150 doing the marathon. I'm curious what you guys thought. Did you guys enjoy the marathon? How many did you do? Let me know after in the comments, because I don't know if I'll be playing in the marathon next year. Gonna have to readjust and just kind of focus where the money's going to go next season. But really enjoyed the single entry contests. Crushed the Bulldog, crushed the Greyhound. Would have crushed some of the Goldens, but we took some crazy injuries. I think we have the Corgi. This is the last team we'll look at. And again, a lot of these drafts like shows we're not advancing, but it's not paying out the first round of playoffs. And when it doesn't pay out the first round of playoffs, it just doesn't show any money. So you guys might have some sneaky teams advancing that you don't even know of. But A-Rich and Goff, K-Walk, Pollard, Spears, Chuba, Dobbins, Amon-Ra, Nico, Neighbors, Flowers, Terry, Samuel, Dortch, 3 tight ends, Jaceki, Janu. 5. And these are fun too. 1 out of 10, 1 out of 5, 75 seed final. Still relatively big contest too. 25K up top for a $5 contest. Those are fun. I absolutely love the single entries. I love the tournaments that they had no payout for reaching week 15 and then just adding all the money to the top. It's really gonna pay off once you hit the finals on a few. I also like the Badge Bros contest. Shout out to the Badge Bros. And shout out to the Dog Bowl winner. Fucking Viper, bro. Absolutely crushed it. Once I saw the double stack and how that game went, I was like, wow, he's going to win. That was pretty early in. And then, goddamn, Josh Allen tried his hardest to come back. What an insane game that was. But good luck to everyone. Week 15, first round of playoffs. I hope I see none of you in my pod unless you have at least 3 inactive players. So I'll be in the Discord. Shoot me a message on Twitter. And yeah, drop a like on the video. Hit the subscribe button. Make sure your notifications on. And we'll catch you on the next one. Pounders.